guys, and welcome back again to my YouTube channel. Today I'm here with some scary Nigerian boarding school stories that we were told when we were in school. These stories are very popular in almost all Nigerian boarding schools. Let's dive right into the story. The first one is Miss Koi Koi. Miss Koi Koi is a very popular ghost from Nigerian boarding schools. These stories will be told to you as a new student. When you come into the boarding school, they will tell you the story. So now I have two stories, but then I'll start with the less scary one. That's the one that was popular in my own boarding school that I attended. So Miss Koi Koi was a lady, according to the version that was circulated in my own school, that she was on a plane and the plane crashed and her shoe fell into one boarding school in Nigeria. And so when her ghost came up, it started going to all Nigerian boarding schools to look for her shoe. So that was the first version, and that every night you hear her doing coin, searching everywhere in the night for her shoe. So this first version, it doesn't tell us that she harms anybody. It doesn't tell us that she kills anybody. It's just like a terrifying scene, but she didn't really harm anybody. It's just the sound, coin you keep hearing. And then there are some students that will actually testify and say they actually have heard these coin sounds in the hostels, but I've never heard one. What about you? Comment if you've ever heard this coin sound down below in the comment section. So the second version of this story, which is the scary one and the more realistic one, the one I feel might have really happened, if ever it has ever happened, is the one of Miss Koi Koi as a teacher in a boarding school. Yeah, that's the one I feel is true. A very harsh teacher who is always looking smart, snatched up with good uniform, like a very beautiful skirt and a very beautiful shirt. She's always dressing top notch, but then with a very constant thing on her body. That's her red shoe. She always puts on this her red shoe. And then students don't really like this Miss Koi Koi because she's very wicked. Should I say wicked, or very harsh? She's always flogging, beating, scolding, and she torments these children a lot. She's a very good example of some teachers we had in schools. Once she comes into the school building, merely by the sound of her shoe on the ground, everywhere becomes quiet. No noise. Like, that was the kind of fear she instilled in all those children. Yeah. So according to this version of the story, that she beat up one child so much, she beat the hell out of one child so much that the child sustained injuries. So the parents of the child came to the school, and then they were very angry. They couldn't take it anymore, and so Miss Koi Koi was fired. But on her way home that very day that she was fired, she got into a very fatal accident and she lost her life. But according to this same story, she promised that the students would pay for everything. I don't know what they are paying for exactly, but that's why she keeps coming back to the schools. Yes, so every night, this version is that if she comes, if you're not aware, she'll just drag you, kill you. Do you understand? There are a lot of versions of the story, but the most common one is that whenever she arrives, you're going to be hearing coin around the dormitory. It's always around the hostel. So this made students very scared to go out in the night. A lot of boarding school students will never go out in the night. Once it's after prep, then they get back to the hostel, nobody wants to go out. Why? Miss Koi Koi might be looming in the corners. All right, so that's the story of Miss Koi Koi. Drop in the comment section if you know another version of Miss Koi Koi story. Yeah, so we're going to move on to the next. So the next one is Modupe. This one was very common in my own boarding school, but I'm not sure if it is common in other boarding schools. But Modupe was a student of my school, according to the story, and she was a social prefect. But then during a holiday, when she went back home, she actually died at home. She died, but the next school term she resumed school. But now her parents, her family, all of them know that she's not alive, she's dead. But the school are not aware of her death. They don't know that she's dead, and that's why her ghost resumed back to our school. According to the story, I did not witness it, I don't know, but that's how her ghost came back to the school. So she was still a social prefect, but now she was behaving so strange, and she always had provision. Like, she always had provision, milk, beverage, all those cornflakes, gari, sugar. She never lacked those. And then she always makes beautiful hairstyles, like very beautiful styles on her hair, because she's the social prefect. She's the one giving out the hairstyles, but before she gives the hairstyle, she's already made it on her hair. But then, who makes her hair? Nobody knows. Nobody really cared. It could be anybody. Nobody actually cared to know who was her stylist. But then her hair was always the best, very beautiful. So it was one night, according to the story we were told in school, a junior student during prep forgot a notebook in the hostel and had to like rush back, take excuse from the class, because that was the homework. That was the work she wanted to do in prep that evening. So she had to run back to the hostel to go and get that her notebook. On getting to the hostel, that's how the hostel is made, according to the story I was told. The story was told exactly like the way you relate to it, because you're in that school. We have this courtyard that is four-cornered, then the surrounding four corners are hostels. Do you understand? So like, this student entered the hostel and Modupe was sitting down in the middle of the courtyard. What happened? Her head was on her lap, and then she was making her hair. As soon as this student entered and saw this mysterious headless person with the head on the lap, she screamed and ran out of the hostel. As soon as she go back to the prep, she said, telling everybody, see what I saw, Modupe, she was making her hair, she put her head on her lap, blah 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 blah. She said, telling everybody, because it was so terrifying. She felt she should tell someone so she will not get attacked, or I don't know, but she told everybody there. And so everybody realized that Modupe is not even in the prep hall. The news got to the teachers, and they decided to like go to the hostel to confirm if what this student is saying is true. But when they got there, she was not there. Now, I think I'm deviating. Before I get to the end of this story, let me take you back a little bit. So, prior to this, students were getting missing in school. Like, it wasn't really seen as a big deal, but students were getting missing in school. So, the story here about that one is that Modupe always had provision. So if you go to Modupe and ask her for any provision, be it milk, Milo, she will give you. But after you eat it, you return to another container of either milk or Milo or Gary, and she will put it back in her locker. So just trying to say that, okay, most of all the food items in her locker were also human beings. I don't know how true. I did not see with my eyes, so I'm just telling you the stories. Okay, so they went back to the hostel and they did not see Modupe anywhere. But then in the morning, when they went to the dining hall, they saw a writing in blood on the wall of the dining. And that writing said, I'm going to come back, either as a cup, a spoon, anything. I will come back, even if it's a sand. I will come back and I will torment this school. That was Modupe's last message before she disappeared from our school. So her stuff, that her locker and everything, according to this story, was packed into one generator room. We had one generator room in our school. According to the story around that was where they packed her locker, her bed, everything. They locked it up there. That place is scary, and up to today no student has ever tried to go to that place because of the fear of Modupe. According to the story is very, very interesting. This story was very scary when I was in school. Like, the mere sound of Modupe, in fact, it happened that the night when they were telling me the story of Modupe, he said storming, like thunder just strike. Hey God, all of us scattered because we thought it was Modupe that have come. Do you understand? So the school had to contact her parents that, hello, your child is missing, oh, we've not seen her. Oh. The man was like, which child? The only child I have in your school is dead. They were like, dead? No, your child is not dead. She was in school up until when. The father was like, no, that's not my child. Modupe is dead and buried. So guys, who was this Modupe that was tormenting the school? The story thinks it's Modupe's spirit, but it could be another evil spirit. Comment down below if you've heard any similar story to this Modupe story. If you know this story, please comment in the comment section below, and I will do part 2. Bye. Like, share, subscribe. Don't you like my beautiful face? Don't you want to be seeing me often? Catch you later.